Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are having an incredible day. And today is day 25 of our 30-day emotional mastery. And today, I want to talk about a topic that's been coming a lot up this week in my healing sessions, and that is not allowed to feel emotions. Anytime that we feel that we are not allowed to feel emotions, what happens when that happens? What happens when we're told we're not allowed to feel emotions? So we're going to dive deep into that topic in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and share this feed. If you guys can share right now, please feel free to do that on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you guys want to share with friends and family, whoever wants to join. I know many of you have been benefiting from this challenge, and yeah, just really happy to have you guys join. So we're already on day 25, and we just have 5 more days left of this challenge. Make sure that you're writing down in the comments below. Let me know what it is that you want to discuss. We still have a couple of really amazing topics left, and in addition to a presentation which wasn't able to be uploaded the second day, we're going to get that one out before the end of this, probably on day 30. We'll take a look at that. So that'll be an awesome ending to this challenge. So yeah, let me just go ahead and share this, and let's go ahead and do that. How's everyone doing? Are you guys having a wonderful day? It's so good to see you, Future Whale. So great to see you, Mama Ren. Hello. Greg Herrera. Grandmaster UV. So great to see you. Love the UFOs and little stars. That's so great. Yeah, it's really great to see you, and I'm so excited to be back. It's been so sad to not be able to go live every day with you guys. So I really love the energy that we have in our family here. All right, guys, so let's get started. So let's talk about what happens when in an early age we are not allowed to feel our emotions. And I hear it in many different ways. Usually it's a result of a father or a mother that, repressed emotions at a very early age. And it's a cyclical program that goes back now generations and generations. The concepts of suppression of expression and emotion is one of the easiest ways to be able to control society. And when you maintain people and herd them into the emotion of fear and creating systems of separation and the illusion of separation through society, family, culture, religion, and the concepts that those institutions create for us about perceptions of how we relate with one another, all of these things participate in creating further and further compartmentalizations between how we see ourselves and how we are accepted in society, accepted by one another, and the way that we accept our own self, especially our shadows. So that disassociation that occurs between pure emotions and experiences and what we're experiencing externally really causes a disconnect at a very early age. And so let's jump into this topic let's go deep into the subconscious mind, what happens to the child in the womb as they come into birth. Remember that programming is starting at the womb up until the age of 7. So everything that the child is learning from the mother and father is being absorbed by the child. And because we are multidimensional beings, we are like sponges that absorb this information energetically and emotionally. Emotion is energy in motion. It is vibrational frequency. And the ability to speak the language of vibrational frequency is basically your ability to exist and survive in this multidimensional multiverse, especially within a 3-dimensional matrix as a multidimensional being. So if the ability to speak the language of frequency is severed at an early age by severing the connection between mind, body, and emotions, there is a whole chunk of language that is stagnant, that becomes paralyzed, an entire aspect of the human self that becomes disconnected. DNA from the DNA aspect of what we're accessing in the information, it becomes disconnected, and our ability to reconnect those aspects of ourselves and create the neural pathways to be able to process emotional information is affecting our intuition, our ability to have fine-tuned senses, including hearing, sight, sensing, taste. All of our five senses are the ability to translate different layers of vibrational frequency. And our intuition, of course, is the utilization of a combination of all of them. And from the observer state that begins to observe all of these senses, the tools that the body has to absorb data, if that observer is completely severed from the connection of the mind and body, again, there is no language to allow the human to be able to navigate and express the emotional frequencies that they are experiencing. And so what happens for empaths especially is that we are so heightened in our ability to tune in to vibrational frequencies, emotions from around us. And when it's cut off, or when we're told that we're not allowed to feel things, or that it's, or not even just told, but by example, we are shown that it's unsafe to feel the way that we feel, to show our expressions, to not cry when we want to cry, to not ask for our needs to be met when we need certain things, whether it's discomfort in the body, emotions, fears, temperatures in the body. All of these sensations from the five senses are assisting the child at a young age navigate their reality. So severing the language of emotion, which is the vibrational frequency output of all of these senses, is something that's really huge. And it can cause very long-term disconnect in the physical body between the higher self and the physical. The majority of the time, people that are not able to come into their bodies and be in the present moment, people that have a hard time meditating, people that have a hard time sitting still, are usually trained the nervous system to be in survival mode, which means that they are incapable of coming into a state of observation, incapable of coming into a state of calm enough to observe and to feel the things that begin to arise in meditation. And so stillness becomes a threat. Silence becomes a threat. And this is where we start having people using coping mechanisms. It can be anything from hyperactive activities that distract us from feeling those emotions, to listening to sounds and noises. For example, white noise, or always having the television on, because that creates a vibrational frequency that disrupts anything that we were used to numbing out. So for example, arguments in our family, tension. A very, very highly sensitive person needs something to externalize this heightened attention that the child has at picking up information. So when you start using all of these coping mechanisms, little by little, we are numbing our fine senses. And numbing the senses blocks your ability to communicate with interdimensionality. So it allows, and remember that the way that we communicate with one another is very much interdimensional. It's not just verbal. We are picking up physical cues, emotional cues, energetic cues, even facial expressions and energetic impressions that we tune in to someone. So when we communicate, our entire body is speaking and communicating. So when you sever one of these areas of communication, usually other areas will want to overcompensate. And so this also, when you go down to the root of these programs, are rooted in the expressions of feminine and masculine expressions. The way that our body is organized in a very beautifully intelligent manner in which the right side of the body is the masculine, the left is the feminine. But in addition to that, we also, just like fractal Fibonacci sequences, the entire body is functioning like a fractal. So different parts of the body, different organs of the body also contain feminine and masculine aspects to them, even down to the cellular molecular level. So what that means is that depending on the parts of the body that are affected, our intuitive abilities, our hearing, our sight, our sound, our taste, any aspect of ourself that becomes affected will affect fractal versions into the subconscious mind and into the intricate levels of the body that are interconnected. Because when one runway of energy is interrupted in the physical body, it affects the balance of the entire physical body. So it becomes very difficult for this organism, which is an antenna, it's a vessel of communication, cannot perceive, it cannot bring in information properly, and it cannot output information. So we end up having all kinds of, what we call personality defects, emotional stagnations, imbalances in our feminine and masculine expression. All of these are side effects, and even more psychological aspects, deeper psychological side effects can also be a result of these kinds of imbalances. So as you see, the ability to utilize emotions as communication, as interface with our everyday life is absolutely essential. So let's take it to the next step now. What happens when we utilize this ability to communicate? Okay, not only are emotions, because energy in motion is the frequency language, not only is it allowing us to navigate our everyday relationships, experiences, and helping our everyday survival, right? Because through these senses, through the emotions, we also know whether we are safe or unsafe. We can discern using intuition and also what we have learned to be able to navigate our everyday life. So that's the basic human aspect. But the deeper aspect is that if we're unable to discern and to communicate with the true form of information of what's happening around us, we won't be able to co-create or even come into a state of creation. In fact, we're only going to be repeating cyclical karmic patterns, as you know, and these cyclical patterns are, of course, everything that we've learned from mother, father, and then down that lineage, emotional traumas that have been passed down. So what happens is that we are stuck in a repetition, and even more so because we have been blocked from the ability to access emotional intelligence, we even more so are unable to navigate and even access these blockages. So for some people, they have very profound blind spots where they can't even identify where they have a block. They feel very disconnected. They cannot identify what the problem is. They just know that they feel off. They can't manifest. They can't attract things. They can't heal their bodies. And they don't understand where there is a disconnect. And usually when there's that huge level of a blind spot, it's because at a very early age, there was a disconnect between the mind and the body. All of the information that we need to know about ourselves and also of the collective when you enter into the higher levels of information are available through the physical body. The physical body is the instrument, it is the vessel to access all dimensional aspects of ourselves. And when you learn how to master the emotions, you can learn how to manifest, how to co-create, how to change the experiences that you're having, and to heal the body and shift from places of victimization and helplessness into states of co-creation and empowerment. So these are all of the areas that are affected by not having that emotional connection. So how do we rebuild that emotional connection? This is a process that takes time, and we talked about it in many of the videos in the series from different angles, looking at how we are affected and programmed, not just emotionally and through the thought and subconscious mind, but In the nervous system, which is their habits, they are areas of comfort that we've created. Believe it or not, we become very comfortable in our state of suffering, in states of constant fear. We think that we are in states of protection. We think that we're protecting ourselves from the world, but in that protection, the root of that is a state of fear and the belief that we are unsafe. So that core belief is an emotional and energetic intention and frequency that matches you to more of the same and to experience over and over and to almost prove to yourself that that belief system is true. And belief systems are very powerful in that they manifest into our lives. Because we believe that, we manifest it into our lives, into experiences, because the system thinks, since this organism, it believes that it's in survival, it must mean that it wants to experience more situations of survival. So this is what we're telling our life, our experience. And so the hologram responds to that. So in order to shift and change from that, we have to change the subconscious belief systems, like we talked about yesterday. So if you want to work on that, check yesterday's video to access how to change the belief systems. And this is really important because the subconscious belief systems are actually what create. They are what input into the hologram in order to output experiences. More so, they input into the genetic code in order for this organism to express itself emotionally, energetically, frequency, and physically. So if our belief system is that we are unsafe because, let's say, we eat something or we do something, these programs create side effects in the physical body. So as you can see, the body becomes very affected on a very real physical level, very tangible physical way. And in our everyday experiences, now let's go into the next level. In the non-physical aspects of ourselves, we don't have the ability to manifest. Most of the times, people are not able to dream or remember their dreams. Everyone dreams, become lucid in dreams, and not able to remember their dreams. And this is a side effect of that emotional mind-body disconnect. So the more that we practice awareness in your waking state, present moment awareness at all times, the more you will be able to become lucid in your dream time. And again, the dream state is one of the most powerful states in which we navigate higher dimensional aspects of ourselves, and we work with the rest of the fragments of ourselves, which are feeding into the subconscious mind. Remember that because we are this multidimensional being, fragments of ourselves that are existing in past life timelines, future life timelines, are all communicating with all the other fragments. But depending on whether that fragment, including you here right now, is aware of itself, it's not going to have access to that information until it does become aware of itself. And that's the beauty of this incredible organism, this intelligence, that you have access to channeling, through channeling, abilities to access infinite amounts of information, not just about yourself, but of the collective. Because as you activate dimensional layers of your body, 9, 10, you're tuning into the DNA of the earth, 11, 12, 13, you begin to access the collective subconscious, collective unconscious, and then we tune into these aspects of ourselves that are existing in other dimensional layers. So all of this information is available to you through the ability and mastery and connection with the physical body. So, in order to begin to actually have, let's say, these Jedi abilities of intuition, those that are disconnected from their emotions, those that don't have mind-body connection, communication, cannot tune in to a high level of intuition, because intuition is a language of frequency and emotion is the language of frequency. So next step of emotions, every emotion that you feel, when you utilize emotions in a let's say, a proper way, okay? You are utilizing energy, intention into co-creation, which means that the concept and what you want to be, where you want to be, a state of unconditional love, let's say, a state of union with your higher self, is fueled with that unconditional love. In order to reach unconditional love, you have to educate yourself on all the ranges of different emotions. Because unconditional love means the acceptance of all aspects of yourself, even the shadows. And all of the aspects of yourselves are infused with emotional points in your energetic grid system, in your DNA, in your expression. So you won't be able to access this higher intuition, this unconditional love, this connection and unity consciousness, unless you learn how to process, feel, and communicate with this language of frequency, which is emotions. So it's incredibly important. And this is why I wanted to do this challenge this month about emotional mastery, because this is the next step in order to train yourself. And you're going to see on this timeline in the next 3 years, when you look back to the time that we did this challenge, you're going to understand why it was so important for you to participate in this challenge this month, those of you that are here with me, because we are moving with this collective revolution, spiritual awakening revolution, where the veil is thinning so much that we are learning how to access intuition into the moment. We are manifesting instantaneously. And some of you might not think that we're doing that, but we are. We're doing it in vivo right now. And we see that with the way that the world is. We've been working towards this for a very long time. And we're also aligning with the vibrational frequency in the moment that we're in right now in the collective consciousness. So as we are moving in this moment of evolution, it allows an opening for humans to begin to train themselves in their ability to speak the language of the future, which is frequency. And it's the language of always, but it's going to be more the abilities to tune in to higher levels of communication, including telepathic communication. If we want to shift from feeling isolated, disconnected, lonely, and in the illusion of separation, we have to access intuitive abilities. Telepathy, for example, is one of the most powerful ways to begin to dissolve the illusion of separation. Because when you tune in to telepathic communication, you begin to access the higher networks of the third eye, which is the dimensional plane that connects up to the 6th, 7th, and 8th, which connects to the DNA of the earth. And that connection, when you link up into that connection, you see yourself, you feel yourself, and you experience unity. And this is not something that can be manufactured. It is not something that somebody can feel and embody and integrate simply by doing some kind of psychedelic drug, for example. Because many people do some of these drugs in order to feel that for a moment. But there is a process. The entire body has to integrate. It has to learn what it takes to hold that space. And the idea is that you begin to hold that space, because holding space means that your DNA is becoming activated. It means that new neural pathways are growing. Gray matter is growing in the brain. Many aspects of the body, the pineal gland is becoming decalcified and activated. Okay, the amygdala is coming into a state of neutrality. Many aspects of the body, the entire organism is adjusting. The chakra systems, the organs function differently. The hormonal systems in the body also function differently. So there is an entire process to the embodiment of the higher self. And the physical body can't just immediately, tune into that higher self unless we do the work. We need to create an environment to hold that frequency. The higher self is a higher dimensional aspect of yourself, which you have access to at any time. But in order to embody that, there has to do some housework in the physical body. And the way to make space for that is by raising the vibrational frequency, which means deprogramming belief systems of low frequency in the body. So all the limiting belief systems that we have that do not allow us to connect with all the range of emotions block the ability for the human to come into the highest expression. So this is really the key to entering into the higher abilities. So let's dive into it today. We are going to work with that. And let me tune into the chat, see what's going on here. Wow, thank you so much, guys. I'm so happy to see everybody here. Christine Bangloy, Graham, hey, Geraldine, I tried to make that name, but the platform didn't allow me. Oh, that's okay, that's close enough. Peace, love, and light. Infinity, so good to see you. Joy Lavoie, so wonderful to see you. Cedric, welcome. James Harkins, lovely, thank you. Thank you. Justin Michael, listening along. Thank you. Stay up. So great to see you. Mama Ren, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much for being here. Love you too. Heart Traveler, good evening. Pono, thank you very much. Yannick Yoda, thank you so much for that amazing super chat. Thank you for being here. It's so feel very welcoming and warm to have your warm welcomes here. Francine, so good to see you. Sioban, this explains so much in my life. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that super chat, Sioban. Mariana K, welcome. Ivy, so good to see you. I literally had this exact same breakthrough about not feeling safe while redoing last night's meditation this morning. Awesome. So that's the next step. Exactly. Greg, there is such a need for therapists that work in this realm. Yeah, there is. Absolutely agreed. Tony Jovanovsky, so great to see you. Hello from Holland. Yay, Holland, welcome. I love telepathic communication, especially with the animals. That's a really good point, Moran, because that is kind of our first introduction to telepathic communication. And although you might not think so, cats, for example, are incredible, all animals, but the human becomes aware of their presence before, and this is energetically done. There are some signals that are being sent out from the animal to us that allow us to become aware of their presence, and then there's a connection. So, these are tools that we have to train. Future Whale, so great to see you. Monique, so good to see you. Essencia. Future Whale says, I have a hard time connecting because I get real confused about religion. Okay, yeah, that's super valid. And something that there's programming there. And it's just about getting clear about belief systems and where they originate. Once you become clear about that, it'll be a lot easier to discern. And that is a process. But when I was going through that specific process myself, you might find that there is not one religion on this earth that really speaks to that level of awareness that you can access through your own organic connection, which is something that's really powerful. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of these religions do reference that because they know that people that have reached those levels, they know you cannot hide that as truth. But we have to experience that through our work in order to know that truly. So don't take anyone's word for it. You have to access it yourself. All right, so let's get started. Go ahead and get really nice and comfortable. We're going to close our eyes, taking a nice deep breath. And coming immediately into a stillness, allowing the body to process through any parts of itself that don't want to come into a stillness. Breathing deeply. Anchoring down to the center of the earth, coming fully into the body, tuning into the 5 senses now. What are you hearing? What are you smelling? What are you tasting in your mouth? What are you sensing around you? And breathing through any parts that feel resistant to tuning in to the information that you're picking up from any of your senses. That resistance might come in the form of anxiety, fear, anger, frustration, movement in the body, irritation. It can even come as itching in the body or just like discomfort in the body, aches, pains. The body will do anything because it's programmed in order to not feel. So if you feel resistance, just breathe through that. And at first it's probably going to be hard, but you're going to focus on your breath. Focus on the inhale and exhale. Okay, so we're going to go deeper now. Go ahead and visualize your energetic field. Go tune into that. How far out does your energy extend around you? And you're going to become aware of all 13 layers. Your awareness brings it into the present moment. Your awareness makes it real. And as you tune into the 13 layers of your body, go ahead and scan the layers of the body for areas that are ripped open, tears, holes in your space, in any of the layers. You're going to tune into all 13 layers and just briefly seal any kind of imbalances in your multidimensional body. Go ahead and seal any openings in the first, second. Should be pretty quick. Just imagine like a zipper or closing a window, whatever feels easy for you to imagine. Remember that imagination is creation. And as we continue to fine tune the tool of our imagination, it comes more into alignment with our space and what we're experiencing. Our imagination turns into a tool of intuition for us. Third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer, sixth layer. Whatever you see in your energetic space, tune into it, discerning if it belongs in your space. Even if it looks like light, just discern whether you need to be holding on to that in your energetic space. Ideally, we want to be as clear as possible, as neutral as possible. Okay, continue on to the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Okay, making sure you're clearing, closing, zipping up all layers of the body. And you'll notice that the body comes into a state of calm because of attachments, parasites, entities, cords, all of that drains your attention, drains your life force through the drainage of attention, the distraction. So once you own your space, you yourself, and we own our space with the awareness of our space. When you become aware of your space, you're beginning to own your space. So this is a practice that takes time, and you can decide what you allow yourself to experience. This is super powerful because this relates to news about the war, news about terrible things happening around the world, and the way that you feel about them emotionally, how you respond to them, how you connect to them emotionally. So if you are in a state of awareness and ownership of your body, you will have the ability of observing what you're looking at, but not necessarily entangling with it and enmeshing with it in a way where you become identified with that. And all the subliminal messages behind these world events that oftentimes are targeted and designed to stimulate certain emotions within us, we have the option of either choosing to engage with that or not. Okay, so we're talking about high levels of awareness. We're not talking about judgment. We're not talking about ignoring. We're talking about the mastery of your life force, which is number one. Because if you know how to master your life force, you can assist in shifting the co-creation of the collective, which means that by mastering your emotions, you can help even change world events. And that's the whole point of learning how to master your emotions and your awareness. So the mastery of your body is essential. Go ahead and connect. We're going to go deeper now as we begin to work with the root chakra at the base of the spine. Go ahead and visualize closing that chakra down, shrinking it down to the size of a dime. Go up to the sacral. And remember that the chakras are not just vortices that are in the body. It is the entire field around your body that creates your perception. Your chakra systems are the root of perceptions. They inform perceptions. So as we learn how to clear them, we begin to clarify what we are experiencing and discerning what we're experiencing. Okay, so go ahead and go up to the solar plexus. Okay, closing that chakra. Okay, you're going to go up into the heart chakra now. You're going to expand that heart chakra. That means you're expanding your heart body. And we're expanding it because we want to activate unconditional love. We want to activate the vortex of coherence, the tool of coherence, which is one of the most powerful tools of manifestation. So you want to activate that heart field. Okay, going up into the throat, same thing. Into the third eye. Okay, into the crown, activate the crown. And we're going to go deeper. We're going to do a very healing meditation today. So from the center of the earth, pick a color that represents healing for you. And you're going to bring that up into your body, creating a vortex of that healing color. Excellent work. From the universe, from the cosmos, go ahead and bring down gold energy coming down to the crown of the head, combining with this healing energy. Move that energy around the body, 3 dimensions of the body. Breathing deeply. Okay, so go ahead and create a channel of elimination back down to the center of the earth. Clear it out down to the center of the earth, all the debris that you picked up. Okay, you could take 80% up your spine, create a fountain, coating the outside of your layers, severing any kind of unconscious connections to people, places, and things that are no longer in alignment with you. You're going to call back your life force. Anywhere that we have dispersed our life force without our conscious awareness, bring it back into the body. And you're going to bring that energy into the body now, healing, penetrating into the pores, the flesh, the muscles, the bones, down to the cellular level of the body, transforming any darkness into light. Excellent. Okay, so as you are here now, running energy in your space, I want you to see a room filled with karmic contracts. Go ahead and see that room filled with karmic contracts. You're going to shine your crown light on top of that room, and you're going to dissolve those karmic contracts one by one. Go ahead and clear that room out. Those are all the ancestral cyclical agreements to repeat karmic, to live in the karmic cyclical pattern of the matrix. Karma is the matrix. The matrix requires karma in order to keep you experiencing cycles of things. When you break those patterns, you begin to detach yourself from the reincarnation cycle, which means that your frequency begins to elevate from the alignment of the three-dimensional plane to experience duality. You go from experiencing contrast and duality into unity. So as you dissolve those karmic contracts, just see that room completely empty. And you're going to fill that room up with your color of your crown, highest neutral point. Breathing deeply. Okay, expanding your light all around you. Filling that room with your crown color, because now as a co-creator, you're using your highest frequency in the journey of your soul in order to experience this life in this temporary three-dimensional plane. Okay, so you're breaking, you're basically, it's almost as if, what is it called? You are, what's it called? When you edit programs, it's almost like you're hijacking the program, okay, of the matrix. So just allow yourself to rewrite what you're going to experience. All right. So now that you're here, we're going to go deeper. I want you to tune in to all of the parts of yourself that have not been allowed to feel emotions. Go ahead and tune into that. Begin to observe over the past week how many times we ignore our emotions or we betray our own emotions. Any intuitive communications that come up, if they come up for you, that you betray them by not listening to them. It's the same mechanism. So just tune into the part of you that wants to avoid feeling. So how many times this week have you avoided feeling? Even the avoidance of feeling negative emotions can be escaping truth. So we want to understand very well all emotions, positive and negative. Where do we avoid feeling them? We actively choose not to feel them. You might notice actually that you're not even aware of when you decide not to feel an emotion, but you might feel that you want to be distracted by something, whether it's music, television, activities, household chores, going out to do something, whatever it is. Notice the times that you try to distract yourself with something. It could even be food. Where do we avoid feeling? Okay, and I want you to pick one of these memories that comes up the most for you, whether it's in the past week, month, year, and I want you to take yourself there. And I want you to see yourself in that moment, avoiding whatever it is that you are avoiding. I want you to tune into your body. I want you to tune in to the emotions that you're feeling in that moment. Okay, tune into that. And as you begin to name out all the things that you are avoiding in that moment, notice where in the body you store that emotional memory. So what will happen is as soon as an emotion comes up, you'll notice that a certain part of the body calls your attention or that a part of the body tightens up. So for those of us that don't have a connection between mind and body, we won't notice where that connection is. Some of us are probably going to refer to just thoughts, the mind. You're going to say, oh, it's in my mind. It's not in the body. I want you to push yourself a little further to see if you can see where in your body. You're going to heighten your senses for this practice to notice if the body is reacting in some way. Okay, and this ability to tune into this, it becomes better over time. But for now, help yourself and become very connected with your body. And as soon as you feel an emotion, notice if any parts of the body begin to tense up, tighten. Even if it's anxiety, you start feeling it in the belly, tightness in the neck. You start becoming aware of this pain in the shoulder. Whatever it is, there is a stagnation within the body and it's communicating to you. But most of the time we ignore it. So pay attention to the body very sensitively and attentively. Notice what part of the body is storing this emotional data. And as you connect with that body, as you identify it, that part of the body, I want you to take all your attention to that part of the body. And you're going to be present with that part of the body. The presence that you bring to that part of the body is you reading the DNA of this holographic aspect of yourself. Okay, so as you tune into that part of the body, notice the emotions that begin to come up in the discomfort, tightness, pain, feeling, sensation, heat, color, whatever it is that you feel. What emotions start to come up as you become very attentive to it? And name those out. Okay, you're probably going to notice a lot more information opening up for you. So as you sit with that emotion, I want you to see what emotion is most coming up for you now. Okay, so go ahead and select the one that you have narrowed down to, the one that you feel the most, and you're just going to notice that belief system. What is that belief system? Okay. Why isn't it okay for you to feel this emotion? Go ahead and ask yourself that. I want you to take yourself back to the very first time you resisted feeling this emotion. Take yourself there. You will find that in not feeling these emotions, you literally become that emotion because you become the resistance to that emotion. So go ahead and take a look at now all of the fragments of yourself that have experienced the resistance of feeling. And I want you to tune into that root fear of feeling. This is the feeling of the fear of truth, your own truth. Why is your own personal truth unsafe? Take a look at that. What are some of the belief systems that we have adopted, that we have been shown, that we have been in our environment and picking up about not being safe to feel emotions? Not feeling safe to express them, to feel them in the body. Notice people, places, and things that have participated in creating that belief system in us. And just observe without any judgment. You're just observing. Okay. So what is it that you need from yourself in order to have permission to feel? Take a look at that. Okay, go ahead and provide yourself with everything that you need in order to be able to feel emotions again. To listen to those emotions, to act on those emotions. All of these are facets of the process of intuition. So just tune into whatever aspect is affecting you in your life. It can be different for everyone. Most people will have most of these. Notice what is it that you need in order to be able to embody that. And notice your emotional needs, your energetic needs, physical needs, because you might have many different needs that for a very long time since childhood have been unmet. So allow yourself to acknowledge all of the needs that you have had, that you have now, because without that awareness, you really won't know how to support yourself. And the next time that something triggers an emotion, you will once again default to one of these that are still in the subconscious mind. So you want to make sure that you're looking at all the parts of you that have not been met, the needs that have not been met. So allow yourself to provide support for all of those fragments of yourself. Okay. And allow yourself to forgive yourself for any parts of yourself that have rejected these aspects, because what will happen is that as you look at all of these different scenarios in your life, you'll notice that sometimes there's a lot of anger towards yourself because we are not able to express our emotions or ask for our needs to be met. There's resentment towards yourself and also those that have taught us to feel this way. And so this has to be addressed. So allow yourself to address those as well. Forgive all of the parts of yourself that believed for that moment that it was not okay to feel emotions. Notice parts of your body repairing, parts of your field becoming whole, fragments of yourself healing, shifting, transforming, as they all become acknowledged now by you. Your awareness of yourself begins to activate DNA and aspects of yourself in the higher realm. So as you begin to see these fragments healing, reintegrating, you're going to see them merging into one self. I want you to tune into that self. How do they feel about feeling emotions? Take a look at that. I want you to take them and place them into any one of these scenarios that you looked at today. Now, with this new understanding, how do they manage feeling emotions? Go ahead and it's almost as if you froze the scenario and now you're going to play pause and watch the replay. Allow that part of yourself to now respond. Notice how they feel. Notice energetically, emotionally, physically, what has shifted with this new understanding, this permission, forgiveness, this allowance of the true self to begin to express itself in that moment. And you will also notice as you play these scenarios out that other people, you will notice their reactions sometimes are going to be startled and sometimes they're caught off guard because normally the people that we are interacting with, remember that they're in resonance with our core beliefs. So they also have those same subconscious belief systems as we do. And oftentimes when we begin to shift in the way that we see and perceive and feel, there's a disconnect where the person is caught off guard. And so in your everyday life, let's say tomorrow, you wake up and you continue your day with the same people that you're interacting with, you will feel the resistance and the confusion and the lack of energetic support in what they're used to interacting with because you have shifted yourself. This is normal, and this is part of the ascension and awakening. This is why a lot of couples, a lot of partnerships, relationships oftentimes fall out of alignment, out of union, because the frequency begins to shift and those patterns are no longer energetically supported for the other. So this takes a process of compassion and very deep self-love in order to own your space in your new understanding, but also compassionately hold space for the other. Because now that you have healed, you now have the vision to be able to understand what they're also, the suffering that they're going through. It doesn't mean that you're going to become identified with it, but holding space for yourself will allow you to hold space for this new interaction. Okay? So this is where you begin to shift in how you're doing things. So as you see the fragments of yourself now interacting differently, begin to see your fragment and take it into your body now, reintegrate it with yourself. Notice the serenity, the peace, the expansion, the trust in the self that has been created by this newfound runway of communication between the mind, body, emotions. It's a powerful expression, okay? So as you begin to see this fragment reintegrating with yourself, I want you to look at all of the people, places, things that you've interacted with in the past that you are connected to, these patterns of experiences. And you're just going to visualize breathing, inhaling your life force back into the body and releasing any kind of entanglements that you might have subconsciously to these people, places, and things. Remember that you are taking on what's yours and you're letting go what doesn't belong to you, which means adopted belief systems that are no longer in alignment with you. So make sure that you are aware of what you're letting go and what you now understand. This is the process of learning. So as you see yourself in your body, I want you to focus on the root chakra. You're going to open that root chakra back into a balanced state. I want you to fill the root chakra with white light, filling and nourishing the root chakra, providing yourself everything that you need in that area of your body, in that aspect of yourself. Go into the sacral, open it back into a balanced state. Do the same. And you're going to begin to scan the body as we go up the chakras. I want you to look into the multidimensional field for objects. These are pictures, objects, blockages that are existing in your energetic field that are still in alignment with the belief system that we're unable to feel our emotions. Okay, so tune in. And sometimes these old belief systems are still lingering in our energetic space. Go ahead and scan the first body, the second body, the third body, and you're just going to remove out of the body any kind of attachments, cords, programs, artificial intelligence, implants that you feel in your energetic field that are thriving off the belief system that we're unable to feel our emotions or the resistance to feel. Pull it out. Pull it out of your space. A lot of stuff you're going to find in the spine because this is where these core belief systems are embedded. So just allow yourself to remove from the spine, from the neck, the shoulders. A lot of times we have a lot of these programs stuck in the heart body. So go ahead and tune in to the fourth layer of the body. Fifth layer now. Sixth layer, our intuition. There's going to be a lot of blockage there because, again, we are not able to tune into the intuition. But today you've done a lot of clearing, so you'll notice that your intuition also becomes better. Okay, go up into the crown, and as you're going to utilize your crown chakra, go ahead and activate the 8th, activate the 9th, activate the 10th, activate the 11th, activate the 12th, the 13th, and above you is a powerful white light of source. Connect up into source. This is who you are. You are pure infinite consciousness, your infinite potential, your unconditional love. So go ahead and bring that white light into your body, anchor it into who you are. Allow your body to saturate and to create an environment of this higher self, this source. Bring that into every cell of the body as you wake up the cells. You wake up your code to align with your highest expression. Very good. Okay, excellent. So go ahead and open your eyes. You're going to anchor down to the center of the earth. You're going to continue to see your 13 layers of your body, becoming very aware of what's happening at all times in your energetic field. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today. It is such a pleasure to be working with you. And thank you guys for joining this 30-day meditation challenge. I love you guys so much. You guys are incredible. And thank you for your very beautiful, warm welcomes and messages and your super chats as well. They really do help me keep this channel going and doing what we need to do here. So great to see you, Bob. Welcome, Future Wild. I knew it wasn't my fault. Yes, that's right. Bob Berkins, so good to see you. RR2, hi kids, what's up? All right, my loves, have an incredible night, and I will see you tomorrow. All my love.